Right. All right. Hope y'all hear me now. All right. Welcome to Famous Friday. And today, uh, all right, all right, all right. Ooh, all right.
Ain't all of it?
All right. So we today are going to discuss this Famous Friday. And Famous Friday, I started Famous Friday. Miss Jessica got me doing Famous Friday about just making an alderman and city council and commissioners and everybody just famous. Just talk about the corruption, or some people may be decent, but majority of them are all terrible. Um, as you know, the 2026 budget they're trying to pass, and I know plenty of people realize and know that property tax up, and Mayor Brandon Johnson said that he promised that he would not raise property taxes, and then Tony Dwayne Freckwinkle said this is her third budget, and she's pleased to announce no layoffs and no tax increase. So we don't know how your property taxes all of a sudden just shot to the roof, especially when it hit the south side and the west side. But according to both parties, they say they have nothing to do with it. But I would like to discuss two very, very incompetent women that are in the Brandon Johnson administration. That being, so we add her to the stage. Yeah, right. Oh no. Yeah. Mary Richardson Lowry. Mary Richardson Lowry is the Corporation Counsel that Brandon Johnson probably really had no choice because the previous counsel, she left Lori once she found out Lori Lightfoot wasn't going to get back in. So sometimes when she first started, they said Johnson chooses former Daily Buildings Commissioner to serve as Corporation Counsel. Mary Richardson Lowry, a teacher's daughter, served as Chicago Building Commissioner, then school board president under former Mayor Richard M. Daley. Now she is Mayor Brandon Johnson's choice for one of the most trusted and sensitive positions in city government. Hold on. You know I got all my accounts. Hold on. So, as you say, so she went from the buildings commissioner in 1998 until basically 2000, when a skyscraper, the John Hancock building, had a hold on. Yeah, no, got to log in. Hold on, bear with me, bear with me. I hope y'all guys went and did y'all Black Friday shopping today. We don't listen to anybody that says that we shouldn't be doing any of that.
Where's the other direction?
All right, all right. All right, I done logged in about 5 times. It always happens, but it's all right. I got it. I got it. Please bear with me. No, I want to make sure I got everything right. Because you know how this works. All right, there we go. Beautiful Mary Richardson Lowry. This is DEI for real. So yeah. All right. So she tapped in as she tapped in to be daily. I mean, well, I call her Daly's boo because she's been passed around all through the city. But she decide. I mean, she was handpicked because again, everybody in this administration is installed in some type of way, and they happen to install Brandon Johnson, who is a nationalist. And the more that um, I keep hearing in my mind when Kennedy Bartley told me that day that Brandon Johnson is a nationalist, it makes more sense every day because he is literally he, the way that everything is going, the way that he's trying to start all this like revolutions and trying to defund the police and really want really want the looting and the rioting and want people to tear the city down and all those things because in his mind he thinks that he is, I mean, the best way, you know, what someone said earlier today, like he really think he like Adolf Hitler, like he that's what he's thinking, and so they put this loser in, Brandon Johnson, who is like I said, he think he's uh, he think he's really a He's really a dictator. He's everything that they try to say that Donald Trump is, and anybody else. Like he really thinks that he is going to start this revolution. And he probably is like a barbecue. He literally is Haitian. I don't care what nobody say. Like that's he wild. He real wild. His background don't make any sense. Like if you look at even his background, none of it makes any sense. But anyway, they tap this lady in, Mary Richardson Lowry. So Mary Richardson Lowry is a teacher's daughter who survived the gang-infested public schools of crime-ridden Compton, California, to serve as Chicago building commissioner, then school board president under former Richard M. Daley. Now she is Mayor Brandon Johnson's choice for one of the most trusted and sensitive positions in city government. Richardson Lowry was chosen to be Johnson's Corporation Counsel, the city's top attorney and head of an in-house law department that controls a $32.9 million budget and millions of dollars in outside legal fees. She is the third Daley alum to join the Johnson administration. The others, it was Chief of Staff Rich Guidis or Guidis, but he got up out of there. And then Chief Operating Officer John Roberson, he silently left earlier this year and headed over to the Obama's Foundation. Also, John Roberson he was over buildings commissioners too after she left buildings commissioner, but that's a whole nother story. The $195,000 the $195,708,000 a year job has been vacant since late March. And I want y'all to remember this. So in 2023, it was $195,000, almost $196,000 a year job. 2023. When Corporation Counsel Celia Meza, the first Latina ever to serve as Chicago's Corporation Counsel, abruptly resigned in the middle of the transition from one administration to another. Normally, the Corporation Counsel sticks around until after the inauguration as a courtesy to the new mayor. Without the wealth of knowledge that can be invaluable to the new administration, Johnson and his team were at a distinct disadvantage. Now he will have Richardson Lowry to advise him on sensitive legal matters and beside him at city council meetings. In a press release announcing the appointment, Johnson was quoted as saying he is grateful for the expertise she brings to this role from her accomplished legal career and looks forward to working closely with her to advance our administration's commitment to ethics, accountability, and transparency, and fostering a city government that efficiently delivers for residents and taxpayers. Richardson Lowry was quoted as saying that she is humbled by the opportunity to serve as Corporation Counsel after launching her career as a law department attorney. The new Corporation Counsel said that her goal is to pursue an ethical, equitable city government that is responsible. Charlie! That is responsible in its use of taxpayer dollars and transparent to the public. During Richardson Lowry's action-packed tenure as Chicago's buildings commissioner, chunks of terracotta fell from aging and poorly maintained buildings. Let me say that one more time. During Richardson Lowry's action-packed tenure as Chicago's building commissioner, chunks of terracotta fell from aging and poorly maintained buildings. Glass from a cracked window at the CNA Tower fell 29 stories, killing a 38-year-old woman walking hand in hand through the loop with her 3-year-old daughter. A scaffold buffeting around in gale force winds at the John Hancock Center broke free and plunged to the ground, killing 3 people in cars below. I'm going to say it again. A scaffold buffeting around in gale force winds at the John Hancock Center broke free and plunged to the ground, killing 3 people in cars below. Despite all of the building mishaps, Richardson Lowry was perhaps best known for ushering in an era of potty parity in Chicago. She got her picture in People magazine after drafting a rewrite to the city's plumbing code that paved the way to a dramatic increase in women's washrooms in new rehabilitated public places. We had a code that was, I don't even know what that is. It never addressed the fact that women like to go to public places and there was a need to provide adequate restrooms, particularly for women who wanted to take their children. Richardson Lowry, who was replaced by Roberson, said on the day she resigned to return to the practice of law. In 2010, Daley chose Richardson Lowry to serve Chicago Board of Education president. She replaced Michael Scott Sr., the longtime Daley confidant who committed suicide months earlier. Richardson Lowry was a good fit given her story of having survived gang-infested public schools. I had walked through gang territories to get to school. I know what that's like. There were challenges in terms of supplies with schools. I know what that's like. But I also know it's like when people make an investment in public schools, she said on that day. I am a product of public schools. I know that when people make the investment, when they have the kind of focus that this mayor does, talking about Mayor Daley, that all things are possible by all rights. I should not have survived some of my early years, and I did. Someone made an investment in me. Richardson Lowry's selection to run CPS came just hours before a series of public hearings on plans to close or shake up 14 schools. During her tenure as board president, Chicago Board of Education tackled the worst fiscal crisis since Daley's 1995 school takeover by granting school officials the power to raise class sizes to up to 35 students for the next 2 years. During a dramatic emergency meeting, board members also blocked any chance of a teacher strike over by indicating they expected to honor the 4% pay raises promised to teachers and 7 other school unions and increased value at $135 million. At the same time, the board agreed to give then school CEO Ron Huberman the authority to take out a line of credit up to $800 million. The short-term bridge was needed to cover more than $400 million in late state aid payments and pump up a reserve fund that would soon dwindle to the equivalent of 1 week's operating costs. Facing a packed chamber, 7 school members unanimously approved every emergency measure brought before them to help plug an estimated $427 million deficit. Richardson Lowry called that moment extraordinary. All right. Now, Mayor Richardson Lowry, the John Hancock building. Now, it was real windy. Of course, all the buildings here, the buildings department don't care about. I mean, we have so much money in buildings. Like when I say if buildings department would do the right thing and really go after these these buildings, especially like these apartment buildings, these slumlords that have all these issues with their buildings and stuff, that still we would be in no debt. But they don't do that because they get because they're incompetent, and then they get kickbacks and stuff like that. The John Hancock building. Now she went to she graduated with her law degree from Texas, and then she came here, and I mean, like I said, she ain't a bad looking girl, so she, she ended up getting into the city government as a corrupt lawyer, a little young corrupt lawyer, and Daley, that was Daley little boat thing, you know what I'm saying? So he put her in all these different positions that she was not. She was terrible in all the positions. But when she ended up becoming the buildings commissioner, out of I don't even know how you become the buildings commissioner with no experience. You're a law student, and you're a lawyer. You're a City Chicago lawyer, but he decided, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to make you the buildings commissioner, and he did. And 4 people were killed on her watch. 4 people were killed on her watch. And what they did was, instead of her being on the do not hire list, he let her resign the next day, and then he went and put her up and found her a law firm, and she stayed in that law firm until like the heat died down with the John Hancock thing, and then he the guy ended up killing himself. That was on the school board, because he probably knew some stuff, or shit, if he killed himself, or did they have him killed? Because you know how Chicago do. Chicago do what they Chicago do what they want to do. So then, hold on real quick. So then he let her be the school board president because she told you that whack story that she was walking in Compton. She was walking and she made it. We don't even know if she came from Compton because these people have all these stories that you just don't. I just can't believe that these people have these types of stories. So I don't believe none of their stories. I honestly don't. I don't. None of these people, because it's no way that they are coming from these type of backgrounds and are all incompetent. It's just no way. It's just no way. Um, so she was elected as president of school board of education in 2010. Um, she approved the massive class of size increase up to 35 kids in one room. Increasing class sizes that high is destructive. Teachers can't give individual attention. Struggling students fell through the cracks and discipline problems rose. But they don't care as long as they get their money passed, right? CPS wasn't a district with extra support. These were already overcrowded, under-resourced schools. Her decision made classrooms harder to manage and education harder to access for thousands of children. But does it matter? No, because she walked to school in Compton. You know what I'm saying? So she has to know what she's doing because she walked to school in Compton. All right. Then she also oversaw huge layoffs, over 1,000 staff gone. The only person that'll never get laid off is her. She continues to just continue to keep going through the ropes. Um, when Richardson Lowry's board cut more than 1,000 staff, they didn't just cut positions; they cut counselors, classroom aides, security, clerks, special education support, veteran teachers. What we doing right here? Yeah. All right. And then we have these are the people who keep schools safe, structured, and functional. Schools lost the adults who handle crisis, help struggling students, and stabilize classrooms. The layoffs hit mostly Black and Latino schools on the South and West sides, of course, but because she used to walk to school in Compton, she was appropriate to put in this position, even though she is almost a serial killer because 4 people died on her watch as a building commissioner. Now you laying off kids and kids can't, and now kids can't. This is why kids is where they are now because of people like Mary Richardson Lowry and Daley. All right. Decisions were made. Decisions were made quietly with almost no public debate. Community members said that during her presidency, the board would make majority decisions in minutes with little discussion or explanation, but she called that extraordinary. Okay, rubber stamp governance, meaning they came into meetings with decisions already made. Thoughtful questions were rare. Community input didn't matter because she used to walk from Compton to her school, so she already knows that she's in the trenches. So since she's made it out the trenches, she don't need no community input. Didn't matter. Transparency was basically non-existent. This destroyed the trust in the school system. But they don't care about transparency. Who cares about transparency? Not the Daley administration, not the Obama administration, because Obama was the president at the United States at the time. They made her the school board president. And who was the secretary of the Department of Education? Arne Duncan. Just one big. Everybody should just kill kids. And I'm trying to tell you, the kids is messed up because of that whole dynamic I just said right there. Okay, those people are to blame. Yeah, President Obama, y'all king, Arne Duncan, his boo, Rahm Emanuel, Daly, don't know what Daly just winging it through. And then uh, Mary Richardson Lowry just out here just making decisions and saying it's extraordinary. All right. School closures and consolidations ramped up. Her board approved moves that closed schools, merged schools, moved programs out of neighborhoods that needed stability. And I don't know why she would do that, because of a person who used to walk the streets of Compton to school, she would already know that the certain neighborhoods, like Compton neighborhoods, would need stability. But no, 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 no. That's why I know that these people is lying about their backgrounds. Now, these closures ripped apart communities, especially black neighborhoods. Now, why would she do that if she was walking from Compton? If she'd walk through the streets of Compton to school and had to deal with gangs and all that stuff. Now, why would she do that? Why would she do that? The black neighborhood's already suffering from violence. And she said she made it through the cracks. She made it through the cracks and she shut them down. All right. Disinvestment and population loss. Every school closed meant longer commutes. Now, if she used to walk, now she said this, she used to walk from school in Compton to her house. Gun, gang violence, all of those things. And she made longer commutes for these people walking in the same very neighborhoods that she escaped. Mary Richardson Lowry. Unsafe walks for kids. Unsafe walks for kids. Now, she made it through the cracks. Got her law degree and everything. Moved on up. But she closed down all the schools, merged schools, laid off teachers, staff, the most critical staff that you need for these schools. Destabilized neighborhoods. People begged the board to stop. They didn't listen. Of course they didn't. She was aligned with City Hall. She's aligned with the machine, not the community. It's the machine. Okay, Richardson Lowry wasn't an educator. She was a Daily insider, one of Daly's girls, one of Daly's booze, hoes, whatever you want to call it, a city attorney, and then she was a buildings commissioner. So when she became board president, people saw it as a political appointment, not an education appointment. Her job looked more like protecting the mayor's agenda, her man, and budget than protecting children. Parents felt unheard, teachers felt dismissed, communities felt betrayed. But this was the young girl that used to walk through the trenches in Compton to get to school. Students and teachers took the hit while leadership stayed insulated, while leadership kept their salaries and perks. Because when I'm saying she's keeping her perks. When I say this, she a millionaire. She is one of Daly's millionaires. She's a city millionaire. She's a city of Chicago machine millionaire right here with that big flower. That's why she's able to break them big old flowers and stuff like that. I'm trying to tell you, there's a camera in there. Classrooms took the damage. Students dealt with larger classes, fewer adults, cuts to programs, less support, instability from one year to the next. Teachers were burned out, overwhelmed, and blamed for problems they didn't create. Leadership didn't feel the consequences. Children did. Mary Richardson Lowry presidency at CPS wasn't neutral or complicated. It was harmful, top-down, political, and disconnected from the families who trusted her with their children's education. She weakened CPS at a time when communities needed leadership, accountability, and protection, and she chose politics over people every single time, just like y'all man Obama. Okay, so then you don't hear from her. You don't hear from her for a minute, after they done crashed and burned the CPS, and and all the stuff that she went and got on some other boards and start doing TED talks like she was this amazing lady, and not that she didn't kill 4 people as a building commissioner. Then came over here and just straight destroyed the public education system at the school board. Anything she touched, it just went to just flames. So then you don't hear from her for a while, and then I'm trying to tell you, conspiracy or not, my mother she put in that lawsuit again, suing the buildings department because they are the reason why the city of Chicago is in court with my family's building because Marlene Hopkins, who we're going to get to next, was always in the buildings commissioner. She was always in the buildings department the whole time. This loser was in the buildings department as well, and they know exactly about the unlawful demolitions that they all have done in the Black community with the help of Daily. I'm gonna keep that 100 right now. Daily, the TIF, the tax increment financing money, right? That's they piggy bank. That's why they're that $1 billion of TIF money that Brandon Johnson is trying to take from the disinvested the communities and trying to put it in CPS and try to steal that $1 billion because that's all they do is steal. Well, she know about the TIF money. Marlene Hopkins know about the TIF money, and in the areas, most vulnerable areas like Miss Jessica area, my area, Washington Park, Hyde Park, Bronzeville. So they all have TIF money, and the TIF money is supposed to help build up the community. The blighted areas get the most money, and also TIF money comes from a lot of money paid by the lotto. They want to talk about that too. Who play the most lotto? We do, right? Right. So all this money that they've learned how to launder. Now people talking about the TIF money. I've been talking about TIF money for the last 3-4 years. Now that because I know that's why they knocked down my family's building. So because my mother put that lawsuit back in, my mother first put the lawsuit back in. The lawsuit was my mother wanted the lawsuit to be filed in New York City because as long as it's federal, it's something that they violation of the 5th and the 14th, 15th Amendment, you can do it anywhere. And my mother knew that here in the city of Chicago, they were going to stall it or try to throw it out or all those things, right? So when the city got wind that, the lawsuit back in, right? All of a sudden, they find Mary Richardson Lowry to come and be the corporate counsel. She's the one to do it, right? You know why? Because she knows exactly about the Sandpiper Lounge. She knows exactly about that grocery store, that government-run grocery store on the other side of our lots, all of that stuff. We're going to have to install her in here. Because she knows about this case. She knows about that property. She knows about that land. And we cannot let this case, we need to get this case barred because that was the goal. The goal is to get the case barred. However, they thought that it was just my mother coming back, right? Oh, she's just old lady. She don't know what she's talking about. Hey, my godfather, they old. Here they go. They all that stuff. But they didn't know that my mom had me, right? They didn't know that my mother had Zoe Marshall, her middle child, okay? The one who I don't take no nonsense, right? So I started protesting outside for 17 weeks, right? Because I'm like, oh, this is a new mayor. They're going to do right, he's black, he should be doing right. Yeah, no. wrong, all that stuff, right? So when I start looking into the case and start really realizing that how corrupt these people are and how they get all these people installed, and I start doing my research on this lady and then on Marlene Hopkins and all that stuff, I saw that she's just as corrupt as all of them. Okay. And then she knows about the case. I've talked to this lady. She has basically said that that my family, there's no knowledge of our family owning this building, and she knows that that we own this building. We have the deed, but because it falls on her, it falls on Marlene Hopkins, her homegirl, that they've been homegirls for a very long time, that they got to save each other, right? Right. So, because of that, let me get this right. Now, the 2026 budget is coming up. I have been asking this city to settle my family's case because we got all the evidence and all this stuff, right? For 3 years now. 2023, 24, 25 is going on 3 years, right? And they refuse to settle the case. And they refuse to settle the case because right now everybody's watching the case, right? You got everybody's watching my case, everybody's watching Miss Jessica's case, everybody's watching Chicago Fizz Red, everybody's watching just how everything is going to pan out, right? Because they're going around saying one thing because Greg Mitchell told me, and Miss Jessica was there, my witness, he told me 2024 that the city of Chicago buildings department can knock down people's buildings. It is legal as long as they say police powers. Now, I say you cannot do that. I say I don't care what they say. You have to have a court order. You cannot knock down anybody's building. But he was so confident because that's what they do in our communities. And they say that and they give that excuse that because they blame everything on the police. So basically, they can knock down the building and just say it's police powers, even though the police ain't nowhere to be found. The police did not sign off on it, but they're gonna say that in our community, that's how slow they think we are. And but as long as they give you a turkey and a Easter basket or some Christmas presents, vote for them. That you could knock down the building. I told them, I said you cannot knock down anybody's building without a court order. You can't do that. I don't understand like what brains do y'all have, or like I don't even understand how y'all can get these jobs because y'all are all incompetent. You have a college degree. Like this. You have a college degree. You went to college. You are proud that you're an accountant because I think he's like an accountant or something, like that. And you are an alderman. You've been an alderman for 3 terms, and you out here really telling people that that like you were confident in telling me, a person like me, that you can knock down people. People can knock down a building as long as it's under police powers. No, you cannot. No, you cannot knock down anybody's building and say that you can do it under police powers. I don't know, like y'all say anything like the city of Chicago is so corrupt, and the people who work in the city of Chicago are so corrupt and stupid at the same time that they just be saying anything, but we go for it. So that's the problem. We go for the okie doke. So see, I didn't go for the okie doke. Miss Jessica didn't go for the okie doke. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here at Famous Friday. And thank you for the 426 people watching on this good Friday. Right. So anyway, this incompetent lady who we have Miss Jessica went and got a letter from Senator Terry Bryant. And so this is how sick these people are. Miss Senator Bryant. Now she's a senator and she's a Republican senator, and she's a senator from downstate, like by in Springfield or something like that, right? She drove to Chicago and she met with Mayor Richardson Lowry and the people about my family's case and Miss Jessica's case. Hold on, I'm trying to get to the letter because I just saw it. All right. Come on now. Right here. Shout out to Miss Jessica for sending it. So yeah, so she got this. So this is March 14th, 2025. So still this year. And this is shout out to my man, Mr. Heiderscheit. It says, Dear Mr. Heiderscheit, at the request of your client, Jessica Jackson, I am writing to summarize my recent meeting with Mary Richardson Lowry and her attorney, John Hendricks, who also is a piece of doo-doo. Also present at the meeting was Gloria Campos, Director of Minority Outreach from my office. This meeting was held on February 13th, 2025. During our meeting, the following statements were made. Mayor Richardson Lowry stated that they could not discuss Jessica Jackson's case because it was a county issue. I asked why Jessica's case was taken from probate court and put in administrative court when there was a last will testament. John Hendricks stated that there was not a will. Now, Ms. Jackson has a full-blown will. I know that y'all have seen Ms. Jackson will. Ms. Jackson will is a real will, like by like her family's attorney put it together, like her mother like did all the things like what they all tell you do, like the steps of what you have to do with the will, like no GoFundMe, like everything, like had all her ducks in a row, had all the apples in the basket, all those things, like everything, like they pretty much was good. Like this was her family was a well put family from the South Shore. Like her grandmother she worked for the owners of Walgreens. They were very, like everything was good. Like they come from, everything was good. Everything was well, but that's the lie that John Hendricks says that she had no will. Everybody knows she had a will. Everybody knows. I mean, everybody knows she had a will. Regarding Lee's case, Ms. Richardson Lowry stated she could not comment on Ms. Lee's case due to the pending litigation of the case. However, John Hendricks, white boy John Hendricks, because they can't say nothing because they're installed. You understand? They're like puppets. They're like standing like just stilts. You understand? They can't say the Negroes in the Democratic Party. And regardless, so that's why she could close down all the schools and all that stuff, because she's not doing it. It was Daley that was telling her to do it and stuff like that. She's just there standing. Ms. Richardson stated she could not comment on Ms. Lee's case due to the pending litigation, but John Hendricks stated that there was no evidence that Ms. Lee ever owned the building in question, which has caused such litigation. Now, they know that our family has the deed. They know my godfather has the deed. That's the issue right now. Right now, we're in a Rule Motion 60 that's just sitting there because Bradley Wilson, the Corporation Counsel on my case, lied and said that they had no knowledge. The city had no knowledge that my mother or my godfather, Leroy Singleton, ever owned that building. Right? This is what they said. Even though the city of Chicago Law Department sent numerous letters to Chicago Title Land and Trust where the deed is. So y'all have no knowledge that my godfather owned the land and the property, but you guys sent letters to Chicago Land and Trust in his name, in that address. This is the city of Chicago corporate. These are the people who work for these people. So now my lawsuit is sitting over here in federal case, and I mean in federal court, because they done paid the law clerks and everybody else in his name is who has it now is Honorable Valderrama, something like that. Useless. His last is use like use. I can't ever say it. It's not useless, but it's use. I don't know. But Valderrama. But anyway, he has the case, and it has all the evidence. But the motion rule 60 that my lawyer wrote up, which she wrote a beautiful motion rule 60, is that they can't possibly say they did not, that they have no knowledge that my family didn't own the building, because we have paperwork that says the city of Chicago law department that went directly to the Chicago Land and Trust where the deed was, where y'all didn't think we had a deed because y'all so used to stealing people's property and land all the time. And then you always go and look at stuff that's like, because, my godfather, they bought that property in 1960, right? So they think they did or got dementia, or they just can take it and like they always do, because they tried to get my godfather to trade his land that's an opportunity zone and full of TIF money to across the street where it's not a TIF zone. That's how crazy these people are, and that's how bad they wanted the property. So because they didn't want to do that, and because they didn't want to give any TIF money to my family, and my mother decided to do it herself, they said, you know what, we're just gonna knock the building down. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing, right? So that's what we own. So anyway, so this beautiful lady right here, this DEI hire. So remember when I read, it was what 100 and it was 178. Hold on, I'll see it is right here. I'll be back at it. All right. So when she first, the job when she got in there, it was 196,000, right? And then in 2025, I don't know what it was, but I know in 2024, I have to go back and look, but I know in 2025, she got a raise, right? So 96. And the raises are crazy. Like she got a 96, 2006, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So she got a $15,000 raise in 2025. So she went up from 196,000 to 215,000. Then, if this budget passes, she will go up to $236,000. This lady right here, the serial killer. 4 people have been killed because of her as a builders commissioner. Kids, she done ruined kids' education and lives, and ruined adults' careers. Okay, when she was a school board education, but now she's over here spending millions of advising this idiot as a mayor not to settle my case. Got to the point that now I have a whole Republican Party called Chicago Flips Red, because ain't no way in the world y'all think y'all gonna get back in. Y'all going to jail, or it's gonna be all red. When I say red, it's gonna be such the biggest conservative movement that you've ever seen in this city of Chicago, because y'all will not continue to hurt our community. You will not continue to hurt our children. You will not continue to hurt our seniors. And you're not going to continue to pay off these corrupt judges and law clerks and lawyers and stuff like that. Ain't no way in the world she should be getting a $21,000 raise. Ain't no way in the world she should be getting for what? And nobody should be getting a raise. Not one person should be getting raised when y'all property taxes just went up. They out here stealing people's property. We have a homeless crisis, a mental health crisis, an education crisis, all because of these people. But you gonna give her a $21,000 raise if this budget passed? That doesn't make any sense. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. Then you look into these assistant corporation counsel, right? They all get six figures. For what? For what? Paralegal, $119,000. Like, I mean, y'all gotta be crazy. A $38 million, they expect for litigation for the city of Chicago. She gets a $21,000 raise for what? For what? No, absolutely not. She needs to be investigated. She needs to be investigated, because I need to understand what, and its administration needs to be investigated, and I need to understand what was the purpose of Ernst & Young, because if we paid them $3 million to help the efficiencies in the budget, nobody didn't see the efficiencies when it came to these raises. These raises are outrageous. Like, these raises are they're not even normal raises. Like, these raises is like crazy. Like, y'all property taxes all the way, the property taxes are all the way up the roof. People are about to lose their houses like crazy, especially if people got mortgages. Y'all about to really lose your homes, lose your houses. But meanwhile, Shorty get a $21,000 raise. Shorty get a $21,000 raise. These people talking about the millionaires and the billionaires. This is a whole millionaire right here. She's been a millionaire since Daily found her. Her property tax, like this is insane at this point. This is insane, and we're being played. We being played. Anybody in their right, you have to be insane for y'all to continue to vote for these people. You have to be absolutely insane if you deal with these people. 21,000. Then she had a $13,000 raise last year. So she just keep getting these raises. Like, what? These raises don't even make no sense. I'll read this real quick before I move to her partner in crime, who need to be in jail. She need to be locked up. And Marlene Hopkins need to be locked up too. For real. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. Hold on. Then they moved her over to Mayor. That's the name of the law firm. So Chicago business in 2002, after them three people were killed uh, from John Hancock Center, she hurried up and stepped down. You know, her boo Daly got her up out of there. Moving them, moved the serial killer to Mayor Brown Row in Mall. So Buildings Commissioner Mary Richardson Lowry, the serial killer, is leaving City Hall for the law firm of Mayor Brown Rowe and Mall, where she will be an equity partner. The move was in the works for a couple of weeks, a department spokeswoman said Tuesday, and was not related to Saturday's accident at the John Hancock Center. So she left that Tuesday. The Saturday accident, I mean, it happened she left Tuesday and it happened that Saturday previous, where scaffolding plunged more than 40 floors to the ground during a windstorm, killing 3 women. Sewers Commissioner John Roberson will take over as buildings chief on March 31st of 2002. Miss Richardson Lowry was in charge of the buildings department since June 1998. Prior to that, she was a project manager in the mayor's office overseeing programs such as the Blue Bag Recycling Project. Before joining the mayor's office, Miss Richardson Lowry, who received her law degree from Texas Southern University, was an assistant corporation counsel with the city's law department. So just in there, just she's just messing up. But it doesn't matter because that was Daily Boo. All right. So yeah. So she went to Texas. So she went to Texas State, got her degree there, her GED or whatever it is. I don't even believe these people is getting these degrees. I really don't believe it. I believe that there's a person who is sending out, I mean, who they paying for these degrees. These degrees and these narratives. These people can't have no degrees. You can't be people get none of these people are competent. They're all incompetent. She should have been on the do not hire list. So then next we have Marlene Hopkins. Now Marlene Hopkins, this is Mary Richardson Lowry homegirl, Marlene Hopkins. Now Marlene Hopkins has been in the buildings department for 25 years. 18 years she has been higher up, like a deputy commissioner. Now, she also should have been let go a long time ago, right? I don't know if you guys remember the Crawford plant implosion in 2020. So city was negligent, showed incompetence protecting Little Village from pollution. A once secret inspector general's report says City Hall dropped the ball on the Crawford plant implosion in 2020. She the reason. All right. The city of Chicago's negligence and incompetence allowed a demolition dust storm to blanket Little Village in 2020. According to Inspector General's report that ripped City Hall for its response to the debacle, the report was finalized in 2021, but long kept secret by no good Mayor Lori Big Suit Lightfoot's administration. Blames 3 city officials who were involved, as well as developer Hillco, over poor planning for the implosion of the nearly 400 feet tall chimney at the old Crawford Coal Fire Power Plant. When the structure was brought tumbling down, it spewed a massive dust cloud that covered homes, yards, cars, and everything else in the area near the plant. In the long secret report, then City Hall Inspector General Joe Ferguson recommended disciplinary action to be taken against two city buildings department employees, Marlene Hopkins and Jorge Herrera, and Dave Graham, an assistant commissioner in the City Department of Public Health, for their oversight failure, which should factor the magnitude of the public health, welfare, and safety threat innocent, unwitting community members. Last year, the Chicago Sun-Times revealed the city's officials were warned that the implosion, which happened over Easter weekend in April 2020, could cause an almost cataleptic, I don't even know what that word is, harm, and were advised to take precautionary measures. A summary of the report was made public a little more than a year ago, which was in 2022. The City of Chicago City Council, Ferguson, and others have called for its release. Ferguson declined to comment. In a written statement Tuesday, Lightfoot administration officials didn't defend steps leading up to the event, but said City Hall acted swiftly and decisively afterwards and took measures to prevent future problems with demolitions. The coal-fired power plant was being demolished by Hilco to make way for a distribution warehouse for Target. Community residents opposed the project. Yeah, it don't matter if you oppose any projects. City of Chicago do what they're gonna do regardless. You don't even have to have community input. You can bring the whole community in. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, baby, because they already got their kickback. Saying a warehouse drawing hundreds of diesel trucks a day was replacing one source of pollution with another. But pleased to hold off on demolition in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic were ignored, said Kim Wasserman, executive director of the Little Village Environmental Justice Organization. The city staff played a direct and active role driving the planned implosion forward and abandoning their duty to inform. Oh, yeah. Inform forward. To inform and protect the public. The report notes that initially the plan for demolition involved no implosion, yet once the plan was changed, a new permit wasn't required. The original permit process disclosed a planned demolition that would not proceed by way of implosion through explosives. Ferguson report says Hera and Hopkins should have made sure there was a new permit review for the implosion. And according to the Inspector General's report, Graham knew the plan significantly downscaled the dust mitigation measures, and all three city employees later downplayed their parts in the process. Hopkins and Hera continually sought to minimize their role in the implosion process despite conducting the bulk of coordination with Hilco and planning the city's involvement. Instead, the two said the city's Department of Transportation was somehow responsible for planning the demolition. According to the report, there were multiple instances like this of department officials pointing fingers at one another. Of the buildings department role, Hera even researched the matter, according to the report, which says his fact-finding remarkably involved only exploring where are we at? Only exploring a publicly available search engine to ascertain the department's responsibilities. Hopkins wasn't disciplined and was promoted months after the Little Village implosion. Hera, then the chief building inspector, also was not disciplined. Graham had been recommended for discipline and possibly firing, but City Hall decided a written remand was appropriate punishment. Asked about the key phone call before the demolition report says Graham stated that he only attended half of this call and did not pay attention. These are the people who work for the city, y'all. Ferguson reports also criticizes Lightfoot's administration for its haste as assessing penalties against Hilco and its contractors, which which paid a combined $68,000 and admitted no wrongdoing. Now, first, instead of reprimanding this lady, Brandon Johnson decides to make her the new commissioner, the new buildings department commissioner. And she, make sure I don't got them anywhere because I was just looking at her earlier. All right, hold on. 398. There we go. 398. Buildings, Department of Buildings. So she in 2025 received $186,192. Now she's going up to $204,420. Now that's $18,000. Now, how did she get an $18,000 raise when all the people over in Little Village can have cancer because of all the chemicals all over the place? It doesn't matter because all she do is knock down people buildings and do not care. Okay, she does it all the time in the name of police powers. And her and David Moore got her on speed dial. Matter of fact, they knocked down the building earlier this year without what was it? Did he camp out this year or last year in the trenches when the police had to come get him out there because they started shooting at his tent? But either way, any one of the times, I think he went. Let me see when they shot at that tent. See, he really went and camped out there because he was tired of me talking about him down there. I think it was 2024. I think it was 2024 when he did that crazy act. Anyway, there was a building that was across the street, supposedly an abandoned building that was across the street where he was camping out at. Let me see if I still got that. Let's see, David. More intent. Did that tell you right now? It's 2024. He was sleeping in a tent on 73rd Place between Ida and Racine Avenue. They let him. The first night they let him stay out there. Let him get his feet wet, and then after he said he will sleep in a tent on 73rd Place in Inglewood to ward off the drug dealers. This is going to be my new house. The next day, they start shooting at the tent. But across the street, there was, he said it was a building they was putting the drugs, stash of drugs in there. He called up homegirl Marlene and told her that, hey, I need them to knock down this building, police powers. And he sent demolition people over there, and they knocked down the building. That's how quick they do it. No court order, no nothing. Police powers, call up the homegirl, Marlene Hopkins, like, all right, I got my demolition boo on speed dial, and that's it. and bam, knock it down. No, in our community, they would never do that in Lincoln Park. They would never do that in Roger Park. They would never do that in River North. They would never do that in Cedarville. They would never do that in River West. They would never do any of it. They would never call. She can't just call up and then it could just knock somebody's building down in Lincoln Park. Why would she do that? She would never do that in Andersonville. She would never do any of that. Okay, none of that. But for somehow on the south side and the west side, they could just knock down our buildings in the name of police powers and nothing never happens. All right. So she gets $18,000 a raise, and her homegirl, what's name, gets a $21,000 raise. And it's people that are on the verge of losing their homes. They won't cases. They won't settle nobody's case. None of that. Like these people, but and this is, I mean, what I'm saying, all these people are getting these crazy raises in these departments when people cannot pay their bills. People can't pay no bills. People, property taxes are going through the roof. They're not settling cases. The city of Chicago refuses to settle my family's case. They refuse to settle my family's case, but y'all got $21,000 raise for Marlene Hopkins, who can literally tell Brandon Johnson and to advise him, hey, you need to go ahead and settle Charlene Marsh's case, the Northern Affordable Housing case, Leroy Singleton case. You go ahead and let's just get that over with. It's a new year, let's get it over with or whatever. But no, you refuse it. You refuse it. As a matter of fact, you lie. Matter of fact, you lie. But right, Ms. Jackson. Right. They will never have that many abandoned buildings on the North Line to demolish. Right. So, and like my mother said earlier today, they are literally they raised them. I need y'all to understand, this is the highest that they've ever raised property taxes, and it's on purpose. They are trying to take the rest of the land that we have over there, the rest of the houses that they have over there, because this is socialism. This is communism. This is what they want. They don't want us to own nothing. They don't want us to have anything. They honestly are trying to make this a third world country. And they want to control everything. Of course he's not going to settle my case. Why would he settle my case? When he wants communism, when he wants socialism. This right here, I gotta always look at this. She come here every day. She says she's on the verge of losing her home. Every day she come here and say she's on the verge of losing her home. They are not you. They don't want. You're not gonna own nothing. You're not gonna have anything if you continue to vote blue. How do all these people are getting these raises? How are y'all getting these raises when y'all know about the millionaires and the billionaires? Y'all talking about President Trump and his people. Y'all talking about corporations. We're going to tax the rich. We're going to tax the rich. Well, what are y'all? Aren't y'all the rich? Aren't y'all the rich? This man walking around with a whole 150 police detail, walking around with a bulletproof vest on, because he know it's getting, he know his time is up, because at this point you got the crime is at a all-time high. He's trying to start some type of revolution that is just never going to happen in the way that he thinks it's going to happen. He got up in here. Oh man, hold on, y'all. He got up in here snuck up in there. I don't even know how I got up in there. Come on, man. What's going on? All right. This thing is acting stupid. Hold on now. I'm fine. So what's happening? We'll get my. But yeah, I gotta show you. Hold on, y'all. I'll be back in a minute. Put it in here. All right. It should be good. All right. Now, I'm trying to find my man. This right here. This is, come on. I gotta get because this right here is every time it gets weirder and weirder. Every time he does something that makes no sense, like uh them property taxes that y'all just got, and you're gonna have to vote each and every one of them aldermen out because they're not gonna do anything. But they all did get their raise. They all like nobody should get it like right then and there. Like it should be a strike. The fact that a hundred people are getting laid off in the public health department, but they able to have these expensive raises. Look at this man right here. Like this is ridiculous. Y'all let that man get in there. That's how he's coming to school. Social studies teacher. Okay. You're dealing with a Haitian nationalist that was adopted. And we don't even know if that's true. We don't know. Not, let me try to tell you. You really don't know. His story don't make any sense too, because he's from Elgin, graduated from Evanston, became a social studies teacher in Cabrini Green, wearing stuff like that, that outfit right there. Um, him and his wife got an arrangement because I know they're not together for real, for real. Um, whoever does his haircut, something ain't right. Um, he wants to defund the police, but he has 150 police detail, and he now walks around with a bulletproof vest on. Uh, then he locked arms with these white liberals. This right here is a scary picture. This also is a very dangerous picture. This man, this is a dangerous man, and he got he got to get out of office. He said he's a black revolutionary liberal type, almost like a black hippie, but more extreme. Yeah, and he's dangerous. He dangerous. Anybody that's aligned with him is dangerous, and they are trying to take over the city. They're trying to take over the city, and they are positive with taking over the city. He's so confident that whoever that he's around or whatever they're doing, whatever third world country he's tied in with, and they're gonna come and try to do the same thing that they did, that Afghanistan man did to them two National Guard members. That's what he on. And you see that he didn't say nothing about that girl getting shot and killed. She was 20 years old. He didn't make a statement about it. None of that stuff. They are on that. This is a dangerous man, a super dangerous man. Okay, they're confident. He's confident in. They feel like they're confident. They ran border patrol out. He don't think. Yeah, he's sick. He's sick. Anybody that align themselves with this man is sick. He thinks that he is never getting out of office. He's confident that he's never getting out of office because he believes. Kennedy Barley said it. She said, "Oh, Brandon Johnson's a nationalist." What? Brandon Johnson's a nationalist. So he really believes in his heart that he is going to control. Like this is his mindset. His mindset is he's confident that he is the last mayor that there will ever be. He will be the mayor for the city of Chicago for the rest of our days. For the rest, if you're still this is his city. Him and the legals that he worked for and worked with, and anybody that's aligned with him. He believes that he is going to be the last standing mayor. It will not be no more mayors after him. That's his mindset. He gonna start a revolution. If he gotta make sure they burn down, if he gotta pay whoever his handler, whoever they working with him, if they gotta burn down the city of the downtown and do whatever they have to do, this is their city. He's sick. He's sick. This was somebody's teacher, y'all. This was somebody's teacher. He is trying to conspire with whoever to take the rest of them CHA land. That's why he cannot get it. That's why Walter Burnett, weird self, well, he's not gonna get it, but be head of CHA. And honestly, when it's time to vote for the 27th ward alderman, please make sure that Walter Burnett's son, this is the first time he be appointed and never appointed again. Because he's just as terrible as his father. He's a gay version of his father. Little gay self. Yeah. He believes as the mayor of Chicago, he's going to overtake the government. He does. That's really what his mind is. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Anybody that you hire somebody like Ernst and Young to help you find the efficiencies in the budget, but for some reason y'all don't see nothing wrong. You don't see nothing wrong with with these raises. Nothing. How how does the buildings department commissioner get a $18,000 raise? The corporate counsel gets a $21,000 raise, and y'all spent $3 million to try to find money to save within the budget when we $1 billion in debt. On top of y'all pay for all these illegals and stole money and doing all this, then you try to take $1 billion TIF money and trying to launder it through CPS. This is what we dealing with. We have to come out in droves. We have to come out in droves, and honestly, we might have to take some buses and start just protesting outside the White House to get the Department of Justice here. We are overtaken right now. These people between Pritzker, who put a $25 million in his campaign, he just put $25 million in his campaign. He just know he gonna take it. And this idiot, I don't know. Yeah. So, I will write y'all aldermen, and I will let you know that Chicago Fits Red is coming for y'all seats if y'all think that y'all gonna pass this budget when you giving yourself. Nobody should get a raise. Not one person should get a raise. Can't get a raise. We can't afford y'all. What do y'all what did any of y'all do to deserve a raise? Like what did uh what's her name? Marlene Hopkins do to deserve an $18,000 raise when that $18,000 could go to them South Shore residents who have no place to go, and y'all should see that they should go somewhere because you are the city and y'all have to give city services. And she knew that was in the 7,500 building was a building that should have been condemned and should have had. Y'all should took over it. The receivership, y'all should took it over it and rehabbed it. But y'all can't do anything like that because y'all sick. Like that's crazy amount of money, $18,000. Like insane. Like they don't even make no sense. So yeah, we coming for them seats. We're definitely coming for them seats. I would reach out to all your aldermen, y'all commissioners, well anybody, because somebody would have. You would have to. They would have to discuss the property tax bill, and not nobody. The property tax bill has went up, but nobody has acknowledged who raised the taxes. Your man right here says he ain't raised the taxes, and Tony Dwayne Preckwinkle says she ain't raised the taxes. So who raised the taxes? Who raised the taxes? Does anybody know who raised the taxes? Maria Pappas, Cook County, she's now treasurer. She's now running for mayor. But she said a couple of days before she announced that she was running for mayor that the South Side and the West Side were going to be hit the worst with the property taxes, which we have. And she hasn't said anything. So who raised the taxes? He ain't raised the taxes, he said. Tony Dwayne Preckwinkle said she ain't raised the taxes. So who raised the taxes and when are the feds coming? Now we're having a press conference on Monday at 11:30 a.m. 69 West Washington. Okay, that's across the street from the Daily Center. Okay, and if you have your property tax bill, you should bring it. If you want to talk about any of the corruption, anything, or just want to stand with me, Miss Jessica, Danielle, John, please come. Consider email to info@Chicago Flips.red. You can DM me if you want to. But honestly, who raised the taxes? Who raised taxes? He ain't raising taxes, he said. Tony Dwayne Preckwinkle says she ain't raising taxes. But when you get your tax bill, it says Maria Pappas, Cook County Treasurer. So I don't know. But yeah, we have a, yeah. At this point, so we have a Democratic Party problem, sanctuary city and state problem. As long as they have control of Chicago, Illinois, Princeton raise property taxes and it's Democrats. Yeah, so at this point, you have to be a complete moron to have any hope in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is a socialist communist party. They don't want you to have anything. They want you to be an orphan. Okay? We are going to be the new orphans of Chicago if you do not stop voting for these people. You have to register as a Republican. You have to register as a Republican. You have to remove these people out of office. You have to contact the Department of Justice. You can go on the Department of Justice website and put in an inquiry, and you would like an investigation in City of Chicago, Cook County, City of Chicago, Cook County, the state of Illinois, because these property taxes are not making any sense. The corruption is not making any sense. They're stealing our properties and our land. We don't have no businesses anymore. We're flooded with illegals. I mean, at this point, everybody should be writing a letter to the Department of Justice, to the White House, to President Trump, to Pam Bondi, to Kash Patel, to anybody. We need federal intervention, because if we do not get federal intervention, it's over. They also need to register to vote and register as a Republican. You also have to remove every established politician in this state, in this city, in this county. You have to remove them. You have to remove all of them. All of them. You have to. There's no saving this city if you're going to continue to have these people in office. You can't. There's no way. We're not going to have anything. Black is the new homeless. Honestly, black is a new homeless in the city of Chicago, and the black people, like this piece of doo-doo that's right here on this screen, he is one of the reasons. Mayor Richardson Lowry is one of the reasons. Marlene Hopkins has been making sure people lose their homes and buildings for a very long time in the name of police powers, but she don't care, because as long as she get her $18,000 raise and her property taxes is paid and her family can eat and have a roof over their head, they really don't care about nobody else having a roof over their head. This is how this works. Now she next. Now this lady next too. Now she Department of Planning and Development. She's helping steal a lot of this TIF money as well. And I'm trying to be real patient with her. But this one right here, she's stealing money too. Okay, they all are in on it. They all are stealing the money that's supposed to go to our communities. They're working with their certain people. They have these certain people that's installed, and they are trying to, and they all in the name of honestly the Obama Foundation. But she's next. Okay, I'm being real patient, but she's okay with this with TIF money being put in places that do not need to be there. Okay, and I can't wait to see how much her raise went up. I haven't even looked yet. I'm gonna look. So yeah, we need federal intervention. We need federal oversight because if we do not get it, we are doomed because we're not going to have anything. We're not going to have anything at all. And nothing. These people are secretly running the city. This man right here, Rahm Emanuel, he came back. He's starting to see him starting to talk more now because, again, this is not. See, we were never supposed to wake up. We were never supposed to wake up. They were going to continue to silence black people. We're never going to get any. We're never going to get a lawyer. We're never going to get any help. We're never going to get any justice. I still haven't got any justice, but they can't silence me. They're trying. They're trying to. They're trying to. So what they're going to do is they're going to. We're just not going to settle. We're just not going to settle the case. We just ain't going to settle the case. We ain't going to settle the case. We're going. She should figure it. Yeah. We ain't gonna make sure she get no money. She ain't gonna do nothing. Hey, you think we're gonna play fire with fire? Like, all this stuff. This is what we're dealing with. But Rahm Emanuel, he's behind this. And you already know who else is. Y'all already know who else is. Or yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay, them two. Between him and him. That's why they back here. That's why he's making a lot. That's why he's talking a lot right now, because they got to figure out what they're going to do. Because, see, this was not supposed to be like this. And we weren't supposed to wake up. Somebody said they will always remember you from 4410 South State Street. Huh? Somebody said they will always remember you from 4410 South State Street. Yeah, they said this will remember you from. Yeah. Yeah. My mom said. Yep. So yeah, so those two people, those are that's there. Those two. So they're coming here to try to do damage control. Especially with the downfall of what happened, where them not be able to push Kamala Harris in there. But these are yeah. So that's it. Those two. And so you've got these people like Mary Richardson Lowry, who at the end of the day has no idea what she's doing, but they had to find somebody because, like you said, the other lady, she abruptly just walked off. They probably would have kept her. He probably, because she was Hispanic too, he probably would have kept her as Mayor Johnson probably would have kept the previous corporate counsel and not made this lady. They went and found Mary Richardson Lowry. They had to find somebody I was gonna be able to figure this out. But like I said, my mother ended up putting that lawsuit back in, and they were like, "We got to get this barred. She can't ever bring this up again." And it's not barred, and they don't know what to do. And they all play musical chairs. This guy right here, John Roberson, after she done killed 4 people, Mary Richardson Lowry, they added him as the buildings commissioner, right? And so this is how he was looking. See how he looked, right? Looked like a nice looking, nice looking guy, right? He in a fraternity too, because I see him every day, all the time. All they do is bark and clap and just do stupid stuff like that because we were just. I ain't saying like do you, but all that looked childish when y'all not even for the community. Like y'all do all them steps and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, y'all terrible. Y'all embarrassing to the culture. Y'all embarrassing to Black history. Like y'all literally you are embarrassing our ancestors. Each and every one of y'all that cannot do nothing for our community. Like it's sick to this point. Like it's honestly sick that y'all really like that. But see how he look right there, right? Now he look like this. This how stressed out he is. Stress. Okay? Stress. It don't never want. Every time I try to post that one, it don't never want to show how stressed out he look now. When I say he looks stressed for some reason. It'd be like, nah, yeah, I don't want to see how stressed he look. He looks stressed out for some reason. I don't want to show how stressed he look now because he looks stressed. He ain't look like the same person. He look like he know he going to jail. He know he going to jail real soon. I can't keep doing this. Yeah, you got to keep doing it. Yeah, I got to keep doing it. Oh, maybe it's because it's something else. It's a PNG, whatever that means. But yeah, he look like he going to jail. Um, but yeah. So I just want you this. I want y'all to understand that we're looking at. Let's see. Between that's why they don't want no forensic audits. Oh yeah, forensic audits. You got crazy stuff like that. You got people on the CHA board members getting their family 29 million, $30 million in contracts. I mean, like, it just gets worse and worse. It's like they so corrupt. So between her, it's your girl right here, right? Her and Marlene Hopkins, they're getting a $39,000 raise if the 2026 budget pass. And that can't happen. So I talk about the $21 head tax. Yeah, that can't happen either, and it's not going to happen. And that's not going to happen at all. But these raises can't happen either. These raises definitely can't happen. We can't afford an extra $39,000. We can't afford that. We can't afford. We're $1 billion. We're over $1 billion in debt. and y'all talking about y'all talking about raises. Raises for what? What are these raises for? Raises for what? Y'all don't do anything. Nothing at all. So it's gonna be a no for the raises, and so yeah, that's what I'm gonna write. I'm gonna be writing them. I'm like, you're absolutely. I'm gonna write them all. I'm gonna say you're absolutely out of your mind if y'all think any of y'all are getting a raise when y'all haven't even settled my family's case. Y'all will not leave Miss Jessica's home alone. What makes you think that y'all deserve any raises? Y'all cannot do anything. The only thing that y'all really like, the only thing, like honestly, oh, this is when David Moore was that was his home. When they shot up the tent, that was the tent they shot up. That's where he stayed at, right there on 79th and 80th place. That was his spot right there. But yeah, raises for not protecting the city's citizen. Yeah, so y'all can't get it. So I feel like Ms. Jackson, we should write a letter and we should send them to all the aldermen and all the chief of staff and all that to let them know y'all are out y'all raggedy mind and rabbit mind if y'all think y'all deserve any raises. $18,000 and $21,000 for what? For what? And I'm gonna say, no. Y'all absolutely insane. We don't have no money for y'all to be. Look at his house, y'all. So yeah, uh, yeah. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, we. So yeah. So y'all. That's that. That's my famous Friday. Thank y'all for the 669 people that watched. I appreciate y'all staying up for that. And please understand that we're flipping red, and this is why we're flipping red. And you will not be able to save this city until you move, until it's red. The policies that the Democratic Party has, it's not for anybody. It's not for anybody at all. This lady, Maria Pappas, has been taken for has she knows that the South Side and the West Side gets hit the hardest with property taxes. She knows that she's a Cook County treasurer, and she also uh, is in on these property taxes being so high. She knows it's skyrocketing. She plays that whole devil advocate, plays the whole thing like she's for us and she's working with us, and we're going to give you 2 installments and stuff like that. She knew that them property taxes, that's what they're delayed. She knew them property taxes about to be out the roof. She already knew it. And she automatically went to the South Side and West Side was going to hit the hardest. And then the next day she announced she was running for mayor. She definitely can't get in as mayor. She needs to be investigated too, her and her husband, but that's for another show. So in conclusion, the budget shall not be passed until all of the raise. There's nobody deserves a raise. No one deserves a raise at all. That doesn't even make any sense. Yeah. You can't cut jobs. Right. You can't cut jobs. You can't cut people's jobs and then give the higher ups these crazy raises while you sit and talk about tax the rich. What? Tax the rich? Y'all are the rich and y'all incompetent. But this is what happens when y'all vote a man in that does this and went to school teaching our kids in this. All hands on deck. Chicago flips red. Chicago flips